Hello everybody, here's your Night Sebastian Power-Sieger from CIEmbassy.com. Today I'm presenting you again universal communication with creatures which have lived as human beings before and which them have lost their human body. Today I'm in Bonn in the Rhine in Germany, and I'm in public park. So some people chilling here and they're grilling, and I have a few cameras here, so maybe you will see some smoke from the grill in a few of the camera situations. Do not wonder about that. And in the background you see a beautiful little forest, like with some trees. I'm going to present you the area with a mobile camera very soon. And creatures which have lived as human beings before and which have lost their own human body, they're sometimes able to communicate by using the natural environment. For example, the weather. For example, to be more specific, the wind. And that is what you're going to see in the video material here, because I'm going to communicate with creatures which have lived as human beings before, and they're going to present themselves by using the wind, by triggering the wind, by canalizing the wind to specific areas. And in that way I also can communicate with them in a way that it is to you, transparent to you, the people which are watching the video later. For example, if creatures which have lived as human beings before want to answer a question, because I maybe have asked a question, and if they want to say yes, they can trigger the wind level to a higher wind level to agree to stuff when I ask them questions, for example. And in that way communication is possible, and it is possible to ask questions and to solve questions. As I said, today I'm here in Bonn in the Rhine in a park. I'm going to present you the area a little bit so that you know where we are, that you can see what's going on. That is the little forest area behind me, what you see. And when I turn around, you see behind me one of the first cameras, and there are other cameras in the background as well. And this tool you see behind me is a wind tool, which makes it possible for the creatures which have lived as human beings before to communicate very specific with you, the people which are watching the videos, because you can watch the wind tool closely. But also you can watch the plants behind me, because you may be going to realize that the creatures try to communicate also to you, the audience, the people which are watching the video, by presenting themselves, by triggering the wind, by using high wind levels, and by using that specific for communication purpose. So I'm filming with a few cameras, and the wind tool I will use for the specific communication. One more time again, this is the wind tool. And the plants behind me you can also watch, because the creatures also can use them to communicate with me and with you, the people which are watching the video later. So I have one camera I'm going to use as a mobile camera. This is this one, and there are the other cameras. That's for your better understanding. You could see the forest, and also here is a huge lake. So you will hear a waterfall in the background, you will hear people, and maybe people are going to come by and going to ask questions, then I'm going to answer their questions quickly. That's for your better understanding. First of all, today I'm here in the park with a few creatures which have lived as human beings before. So not one creature, a few. One of them is Willi Herren, a creature who have lived as a German man, and who worked in the media area. He was a film guy in the film business, music business, stuff like that. And he lost his human body a short while ago. And when I moved the camera around, you could see people grilling here in the background. And one of the last times I was here in Bonn in the Rhine, one of these people were there. So he did ask how Willi Herren is doing. And that's why the creator came to the park today to answer that question. So Willi is here because other people did ask how he's doing. People which were there when I filmed another documentation with him. So Chester is also here. Chester is a creator who have lived also as a man, and who was a musician during his lifetime, and a band member of the band Linkin Park. And with Chester it is the case since a few days. I'm producing video material because I have a new microphone. I'm going to present you the microphone. The new microphone is the one beside the camera over there. And Chester requested a long time ago, a long time before I could afford that microphone, that as soon as I have better equipment, he would like to produce some sound videos. So some music videos where he, the creator, is using the natural environment to produce natural sounds. So then you have a tape. As soon as that is done, then you have video material where creator is producing with the natural environment sounds. A creator which have lived as a man before, and which also was a musician during his lifetime, because that's the case in Chester's case. So Chester, as I said, a band member of the band Linkin Park, is also here, and some other creators. There are a few creators in the area where I am, a few creators I do know. It would take too long to explain everything. So for you, the people which are watching the video, it is important to realize I'm one of the humans who is able to communicate with what other people would call ghosts. So I'm able to communicate with ancestors, with creatures which have lived as human beings before. And what's important to realize is they can use the natural environment to communicate with me, and to communicate with you, and to make the communication with me transparent for you, because I can ask questions and they can answer the questions very specifically. So today it is windy, which means there is a lot of wind, because we produced a lot of wind before I turned the cameras on. That's for your better understanding. But the wind can get used very, very specific from creatures which have lived as human beings before. I try to give you an example with the creator Willi Herren. So the creator who have lived as the man Willi Herren. Willi, because it is windy, can you try to arrange a situation where the wind level is reduced, so the wind tone is more quiet? And you can see that now the situation switched and it's becoming more quiet. It's hanging there. Okay? Okay, Willi Herren, can you agree that you are the creator who was called during his lifetime Willi Herren? And if you can agree to that you are the creator who has lived as the man Willi Herren before you lost your human body, then please trigger the wind clearly for that, in a way that the wind tool starts to fly again, and you can of course use the background, the natural environment, to produce more wind, so that the people see the huge difference. So can you identify yourself as Willi Herren? And you can see he's doing exactly that. He's triggering the wind and he's analyzing the wind. And you can see in the background, if you watch that as well, that a huge wind wave were reaching these trees behind. Okay? So that's the identification of the creator Willi Herren. Okay? And because I'm also going to produce the video with Chester, I'm going to communicate with Chester later also, just for your better understanding. So, Willi, you came because a guy who's sitting over there just asked how you do it, and he's happy about that. He's agreeing to that. Okay, I just explained that to the people, and that's why Willi Herren came today to the Rhino, because people from the crowd could ask about how he's doing, how he's feeling, and if he's all right. So, and with Chester, it was original planned to do today a video in this area here, and also in the area behind me, which you see there, because there on both sides you can see huge trees, and they can get used very well for universal communication by creators which have lived as humans. So, because I have many cameras, it will take a moment to replace the equipment, and I will do that later. So you will get later a video with two pieces, hopefully, if everything works out. One part of the video is captured here, and the other part of the video is gonna be captured back there. So, Chester and Willi are agreeing to the idea, okay? Because we are planning a little bit the video right now as well, and hopefully I do not forget that I want to replace the camera, because that's for your better understanding. So I practice universal communication with creators like Willi Herren, for example, or Chester from the band Linkin Park. If I practice universal communication with them, what you see in the video material is just a little bit, of course, of that what is happening. not only because the amount of cameras is limited, also it is because we do communicate as well by body sharing, which means creatures which have lived as human beings before, like Willi Herren or like Chester, they can influence my human body, they can send signals and informations, and in that way they can also communicate with me. And I have learned to outreach and to understand that communication, and you could see how strong Willi agreed. See? Okay. Um, so there's a communication way I cannot make transparent easily to you, the people which are watching the video. But what we can make transparent is if the creators which have lived as human beings before are using the natural environment to communicate with me and with you. And just important to understand is that I have more information than what I can make transparent always in the situation. That's just for you. So the wind tool, I'm going to explain that also a little bit further, in case later they're going to come up with a situation that we have to solve very, very specifically. So only if I request that. But then the wind tool do have on one part, on one side of the tool a star, a gold star, and on the other part there's no gold star. So if I do request specific answers from creators like Willi Herren or like Chester, and if you have to solve problems and they have to answer to solve problems also, so then they can use the side with the star to say yes, or the side where no star is placed to say no. But to keep it easy for you, the people which are watching the videos, we're only going to do that in very specific situations, and these situations are always going to explain to you. Otherwise, if I'm not explaining to you a specific situation, they just going to trigger the wind if they want to agree to something, because that's easy for you to see and to understand. And if you watch the background of the plants, you could see how strong they triggered the wind for that. So to understand the communication I'm practicing with Willi Herren and with Chester, for example, you always have to be aware of the tool, the wind tool, and be aware of the wind in the natural area where I am at. Also, when I'm looking at a specific area, for example, I'm watching now in this direction, and if I would look at a specific tree, and if you do realize that because I'm watching a tree for a little longer while, then it is possible that from a huge area, a small part is used for universal communication by creators like the creator. So it is for them possible to use a bigger area, like you have seen it here when all trees are influenced, and it is also possible for them to use just a specific part of an area. So just a small circle, for example, or one plant out of many. That's what you better understand. So these are a lot of informations. So that's why I inform about universal communication also on the website ciembassy.com, because there you have more video material like this, where creators like Willi Herren and like Chester do communicate clearly. And you will find there also a video database which is called the Ancestors Video Database. And in the Ancestors Video Database, you will find a lot of videos where creators which have lived as human beings before and which are ancestors of other families, where these creators have presented themselves and communicated clearly to reach out for their living family members because they would like to be in the situation to be able to communicate with them again. So now this were a lot of information, so I apologize for that. The few things I just said are very important, so maybe you write down some notes, and I have to repeat often in the video material the important information in case new visitors are visiting the videos. So you will see me repeating that information in the other videos. I also apologize for that. It's just necessary to inform newcomers best as possible, people which are coming new to the YouTube channel. So, thanks for the agreement there. Is it that you want to communicate as well that there are many creators happy that I'm doing that? Yes. You could see it became more quiet when I did ask the question, and then the wind level was triggered again, like it's done right now, specifically to demonstrate that, and before it was to answer with a yes. Okay, that's for your better understanding. So it's a beautiful day, and we want to have a relaxed day, so I'm gonna try to relax. I'm gonna try to drink my beer. Which fell down in between, by the way, when I was talking. So that's also another information I want to pass, because I'm filming with a lot of cameras. Later on you will find a few videos in the internet. You will find of the same moment a few videos. You will find videos from a few of these cameras, so single videos of the cameras, and you will find split screen videos from the same moment where you see different camera views together, because that's to understand the situation best as possible. And the single camera views are for the people which want to see more details or which have a small screen, so that they also have a chance to understand the situation. Okay? So, Willi Herren, do you want to say hello to your family members, your living family members as well? Yes. He's producing now wind in the background for that as well. Watch that. He triggered the wind in the background. And that's correct, right? Yes. Okay, and you could see it here in the plant. It's reaching again, and now he's sending another wave. Look at that. So, Willi Herren is greeting his family members, the living family members, the family members which are humans today and which have not lost their human body. And Willi Herren will create us in the situation that he would like his family members to understand that it would be possible for the family members to contact me and to organize an appointment where them, Willi Herren, is able to communicate with them directly, as specific as he's able to do that here. And he's agreeing to that with the wind wave he did send and by keeping the wind on a high level. See? Okay? So that's, again, very important to understand. After a while, when you have watched a lot of these videos, you can learn to outread the wind, which is used in a way that you can see sometimes creators like Willi Herren do react with emotions, and that's why they trigger the wind, sometimes specific and very strong, and sometimes it is just to say yes. But they also can do it, for example, if I explain you something and they want to organize a situation where my focus is on them, so that I ask a specific question to them, explain it to you. Then they also sometimes can arrange situations where they use the natural environment in an unusual way, so that I get disturbed by what I'm doing to ask further questions. You can understand. So, and Willi Herren, do you agree to that, how I explained that? Yes, especially with the emotions, that was also correct, yes? And he's agreeing to that strongly, that's why he did trigger the wind so strong. Okay, here the wind tool. The wind tool is for me because I'm sitting here, I'm watching that. It's the most easiest way to communicate with Willi Herren here at the moment. But of course I also can watch these plants like you can do that. And a few of the cameras are filming the background. So Willi Herren can use the background here and also on the other side as well, because the cameras are filming all that, just that you know. So Willi Herren was very popular, is very popular here in Germany, and he lost his human body just a short while ago, like I explained. And you did produce music during your lifetime, is that correct? So music, German party songs, stuff like that. Music. And you have been to this reality shows, how they're called, I think, right? In the television, is that correct? Yes. You see, he's triggering and canalizing the wind again, very specific to agree to that. So I'm not so into the German television, not so deep into that, to be absolutely honest. But Willi Herren, I did recognize the face when I did read about his death, because Bonn is very close to Cologne, And Cologne is the city where Willi Herren became popular, and where he's known. So he's known in this area very well from a lot of people. And you have, that's the question, did you have a lot of to do with Carnival? Yes, you can see, I can feel on my skin also that he used a higher wind level. He's doing that again, that's why he's shaking it now, see? So it can work very specific. It's also always a question how I myself do optimize myself in the communication with creators like Willi Herren, and it's the question how good they do optimize themselves in the communication with the human and the optimization between each other. So that's also maybe important to understand if you are not so deep into the topic of universal communication. So today is the first good day of the year regarding the weather. So it's like a party day. Not for me so much because I have some pain in my human body, but that has nothing to do with it. But it's a party day regarding the weather. Yeah. And in the past days, I was out with Chester, and I have new cameras which are waterproof, but I'm not using them at this moment in time. So in the past days we were filming weather situations, and you can watch these videos on YouTube later. Have you ever seen already? Yeah. So the other video we filmed, that's funny. There's a man screaming for help now because Willi said yes, very strong. And you hear the drums now? The plastic thing were going away by the wind. Blowing away in the wind. So they have seen the video? Yes. And you want them to contact me, right? Yes. And he's triggering the wind strong for them. And then we can arrange an appointment. So if they have seen the other video, maybe they're going to see this video here as well. That's why I'm repeating that. But I don't know, do your family members speak English very well? Or do they speak English good enough? Not so good. Not so good. So they are not specialists in English. Okay. Okay, good. I can write something maybe in German under the video. Hopefully I remember that when I upload the video. I'm not sure about that, but if I remember it, I will type something in German as well under the video, because if they do not speak English so well, then I have a good chance to understand it better. And I'm gonna practice a little bit German now in the video, just for one moment, and I'm gonna switch back to English in a moment. So give me a second. So, hallo, das geht an die Familie von Willi Herren, mit dem ich hier gerade kommuniziere, aber in Englisch. Ich habe gehört, nicht alle Familienmitglieder sind so gut in Englisch sprechen, darum spreche ich jetzt kurz Deutsch. Also der Willi hat mir mitgeteilt, einige Familienmitglieder, und es gibt welche, die haben das Video schon gesehen, was ich mit ihm vorher schon aufgenommen habe. Er bestätigt das hier gegen, zeigt einmal den Stern und steigert das Windlevel ganz neu. Ja, das hat er jetzt ganz spezifisch gemacht, wo ich hier mit der Hand rumgefunden habe. Du machst es sogar so, wie ich es mit der Hand gemacht habe. Und der Willi würde sich sehr freuen, wenn ihr euch bei mir mal meldet. Dann können wir einen Termin machen hier in der Bonner Rheinau, und dann kann der Willi Herren wieder genau so zeigen, wie er es auch wieder in diesem Video macht. Und der Willi bestätigt das gegen mit der deutlichen Windstärke. Wenn der Willi es möchte, ihr haltet mal den Hintergrund kurz im Auge. Jetzt seht ihr nämlich, jetzt wie er die Pflanze aufgezogen. Und macht jetzt hier richtig Wind für euch, also für die Familienmitglieder. So, das Video spreche ich gleich weiter wieder in Englisch. Da bitte nicht enttäuscht sein, einfach weil ich mit dem Chester auch noch kommunizieren werde. Und der ist im englischsprachigen Raum bekannt, und da sitzen auch seine Freunde und seine Familie. So, möchte der Willi kurz das nochmal wiederholen an dem großen Baum? Nochmal wiederholen? Wird wiederholt jetzt? Zack. Und wieder, wenn die Familie das genau im Auge behält, jetzt fängt er an und steigert das. Und ihr seht wieder, wie die Pflanze sich gebogen hat. Ne? Jetzt, zack. Ganz gezielt. Ganz deutlich. Und damit grüßt der Willi also seine lebenden Familienangehörigen und lädt sie nochmal ein. Und das wollte ich in dem Video kurz auf Deutsch noch erklärt haben, weil das nicht alle gehört. Okay, vielen Dank fürs Weiterzuschauen, oder es wird auch andere Videos vielleicht in Zukunft mit Willi Herren geben. Und ihr könnt euch ja gerne melden und dann könnt ihr das hier einfach live vor Ort selber filmen. Das kann ich die Familienmitgliedern sagen. Da könnt ihr die eigenen Kameras auch unschuldiger Typ. So, vielen Dank fürs Zuhören in Deutsch. So I switch back to English now. So I just spoke a little bit in German to the family members of Willi Herren, because I received the information that they are not perfect in practicing English. So, and that's why I switched to German, because I also speak German to keep it easy for them, because they have the opportunity to contact me for an appointment, and then they would be able to communicate with Willi Herren directly again, the creator. And that's what I think at the moment in time. And that's what Willi Herren is thinking as well. So I just did try to explain that again to them, because they have seen already one video where they were invited to come. And Willi Herren is agreeing to the facts that his family members have seen a video, a few maybe, or one of his family. One of your family. Yes, one of the family. Okay. You could see when you can rewind the video, so you can also see he was trying to present the start just for a second, then he turned back and used a higher wind level, but that was very clear for me, so I could understand and catch that. So is it okay if I start my communication with Chester? Yeah, okay. So for your better understanding, these creators, because they do networking with each other, if that works out very well, and that is not always the case, but if that works out very well, then they just can switch the position. So another creator can overtake the system, if you want to understand it like that, to keep it easy for your brain, and can use the wind in the next moment. So they can switch there. So is this Chester? Yes. I could see a wind wave reaching the plant here, and now he's doing that specific, and you could see that the wind level is triggered here with the wind tool and in the background. And he's repeating that here at the plant in the background. So that is Chester, who I've lived as a man from the band Bennington. And with Chester I did produce some more videos in the past days. Some videos also were wind walkthroughs, and where we were trying to capture natural sounds. And I'm gonna do a little break, and I'm gonna replace the equipment. And after that, you're going to see the next part of the video, and we're going to try to capture even more sound than you already can hear, because Chester is canalizing a lot of wind to the area and is using a high wind level, so the leaves are producing sound. And to capture that sound better, I will replace the microphone. So thank you for watching this part. We are back in a moment. Thanks. So how was that for like easier now? This is the next part of the video with Chester. I replaced the equipment a little bit. And we have a camera over here now, a camera over here, and a camera over here, which is not filming me, which is filming the leaves and the microphone area. And the reason why I'm doing that is that you later have a video where you just have the sound. And to capture the sound, that's of course, the speaker has to be a little bit higher. And what you hear in the background, you cannot really see it. Behind the bridge there, behind the small bridge, is a huge bridge. And that's a bridge for cars. So this is where the cameras are placed at the moment. And this is the area where Chester gonna produce wind for you, the people which are watching the video, for communication purpose. And that is the area which is getting filmed from me. beside the fact that I'm trying to capture the sound. Okay, that's for your better understanding. So, Chester, I'm gonna be quiet for a moment. If you want, you can produce sound, and the microphone just gonna capture that area there. I'm gonna give Chester a few chances today, and the reason is the bridge with the cars and also the people which are sitting here and grilling, right? Because I told you there are some people which have a grill meal, so we, of course, when they talk in the background, we need a quiet situation to be able to capture that sound, right? Everything is filmed what I'm doing, so you're gonna have a good overview later. That's what I'm at least at the moment. And I'm gonna replace the microphone part, just that you get the sound from different areas. Just that you know that. And I'm just gonna test also this mobile camera, so that you see what I'm doing here. It's a little bit jungle feeling over here. And now just have the opportunity again to produce more sound with the leaves by canalizing and by triggering the wind to a higher wind level. So Chester, if you want to start, just start. I'm gonna be quiet. Here's the secret. It's gonna be a funny video for the German audience as well, because there's a talk about tits in the background in German. are gonna go even further into that small area over here, and I'll replace the other cameras as well, so everything is getting filmed. So it's a little bit like a live situation for you later if you watch the video, even if it's not live uploaded like a live stream. That's not the case. So I'm gonna take the mobile camera and I'm gonna place it here close to a huge tree in this area. So I'm just gonna go to the other cameras and I'm just gonna do wait and let Chester do his thing, so you will see another wind wave after a moment after I left, and then the microphone will be able to capture all the sound very well.
Sowas ist es wert, in YouTube zu reinzukommen, egal wie viel anklicken. Ich hatte ja 5, 6
So now I'm going to communicate with Chester a little bit specific here, that you also get some more visual, because he's capturing the sound back there. But Chester, if you could produce some more wind in the area over here would be great, and you can see how specific he's sending the wind waves. You can see that more wind is reaching the area now, which was totally quiet before, and that is Chester who's producing that wind wave for you, that you clearly can see that, okay? And the whole area is used from him, and he's agreeing to that with the specific wind wave he just did send when I spoke it out. That's for your better understanding, so after a while you will be able to understand the videos better if you learn to watch out for the little details. So hopefully the cameras capture everything very well, but I'm going to replace the cameras in between a little bit so that you see more of the area. So I removed the video cameras a little bit, and the video cameras are filming that area over here, and with the one camera I'm going to present you the whole area, and Chester can use the one with camera to produce the wind waves for you. And watch out, Chester is going to present the wind waves like he's doing here, and then you see that's going like this, you see how specific, and that is what you can watch out for regarding the details in the communication in between the situations I just spoke about a minute before. And I'm going to use the one camera to present you the area, and Chester can send some wind waves, and you can let your eyes get used to the situation when there's already wind existing. And in a wind situation, a wind wave is sent specific to a region. Because that's what he's presenting here with the wind wave. So, first when the wind was triggered, and then the wind waves came. That's for your better understanding. So I do the videos also that the people have the chance to learn a little bit more, and to learn a little bit more about ancestors communication, so that you be able maybe one day to understand in case of one of your ancestors trying to reach you by using the same method of communication. So, and another information, that is the other side of where the sound microphone was captured, was placed during the moment I filmed that area. So at the same time, in the small area back here, there is the microphone place. I'm gonna try to present that to you with the video camera. That is also another detail regarding universal communication or ancestors communication. If they use the natural environment to communicate by triggering and canalizing wind, like you see it here in the video. So, important to understand, if you want to understand the details, is also that all the different type of leaves can produce different type of sounds. So it would be possible to arrange with a creature which do not have a human body anymore, but which can use that system, for example, to agree on a specific sound to make a specific point in a communication situation, for example, just for your better understanding. So I'm going to go back now to the other area, and I'm going to replace the equipment again, just for your better understanding, and then you're going to see the next part of this video where the equipment is at another location. Thank you very much for watching. You're now. So what's up? Welcome to the next part with Chester being Bonn. Chester, the creator was different from man before. Chester was member of the bad moving part. Today he has created a connected to the environment, and he can analyze the wind and trigger the wind, and he can bring the wind to specific areas and use a high wind level or low wind level, stuff like that, and he can do that very specific. That way I can communicate with him as I explained in the other parts. And now we're going to capture some sound, and Chester going to produce wind for that. You could see that he did produce wind in the beginning, and then it became more quiet. Okay. Now Chester starts to canalize more and more wind, and you see that the wind level is going to a higher level. Okay. And now I'm quiet because the microphone is going to capture a different sound. As I explained, Chester have lived as a musician during his lifetime. I explained that in the other parts before, in the other video parts before that one. And so he liked to produce music. And of course, with the possibilities to have as a creator, because he's able to use the natural environment to control it, to influence it, to control the weather situation, like the wind. Because of that feature, he can produce today much more sounds by doing that as he could during his lifetime as a living human, just with his biological human body and maybe human instruments, for example. You might see from the other documentations that Chester can trigger the wind level if he wants to agree to stuff. So Chester, can you agree to what I said? Today you are able to produce even more different type of sounds than you were able to do so during your lifetime as a human. Is that correct? And if that's correct, please trigger the wind clearly at the wind tool. So he's canalizing the wind, and now the wind tool received some more wind. And now I'm going to request from Chester to make that more clear, because that's going to be an important point for the other musicians. So today you are capable to produce much more sounds with the natural environment. And he's triggering the wind for that, now clearly. Much more clear for the people which are watching the video. there where the wind tool is placed, there's another camera filming the same moment, and there's a camera over here, there's a camera over here, that is what I'm presenting to the other camera, and there's a camera here. So you have a lot of impressions from the area over here. I'm gonna use one camera again to present you a turnaround view. So I'm gonna take the camera. So with the cameras, I'm trying to film the moment as best as possible for you, and hopefully they're filming well. So right now this area over here is more quiet again. Watch it. Watch the green plants on the ground as well if you can. And now Chester, can you produce more wind in the area over here again? And then I'm going to be quiet again for a moment to capture the sound with the microphone as best as possible. He will do that. Is what I can see already at the wind tool. He did react a little bit to that. Okay. Chester, did I understood you were correct? Yes, the wind tool is reacting again, and now it's reacting a bit stronger for the people which are watching the video. So that's the creator Chester, who have lived as the Manchester from the band Linkin Park. Okay, and he is producing the sound you hear now, which is captured by the other microphone. The sound you will hear as soon as I'm quiet.
Aber die englische. Hier, wenn die singen Liverpool, FC Liverpool. Football's coming home. Ne?
So as I already explained in the other parts today, Chester, when he produced wind in an area, for example, he, let's say, just as a fiction, okay? Just as a fiction, we give wind levels, the numbers from 1 to 10. And let's say he's using a wind level of 3 in a certain area. Yeah, he can wind waves. He can send wind waves to agree to stuff specific with a higher wind level. Like he's doing it right now. That's what you can see if you watch my t-shirt and so on. So he's doing that, and you can see in the plant, with the plants in the background, they start to shake a lot because he's triggering the wind a lot to make that transparent to you. And I'm gonna be quiet for the sound. So when different trees are used, and if they're placed close to each other, it's like Chester to have like a concert hall ensemble, okay? Ensemble, sorry. Because all the trees with the different leaves, they produce different sounds. Chester just did push a little bit of wind here in the bottle. Maybe you could hear it. And it's the same as you do this. Okay? So you can use even the bottle as an instrument. Because he's able to canalize the wind and to use the wind specific for communication or for demonstration purpose or to create natural sounds like you have seen it in the video already. That's for you better understand. So I'm in the public. It is possible that some people might ask me some questions before walking around here and stuff like that. Do not get irritated by that, okay? So the method, I explained that in the other parts as well. The method Chester is using here to communicate, to present himself towards you, is part of ancestors communication. So creatures which have lost their human body can come into the situation that they're able to use the natural environment to communicate like that with their family members potentially, or with the people which have learned to outread the wind and to understand the system, because that is necessary to be able to communicate with creators like Chester. And Chester is agreeing to that by triggering the wind, by using a much higher wind level now for you. Okay, that's for your understanding. So people can organize for themselves learning processes, and if they then come into the situation that a creature which have lived as a human being before, which is able to use that method to communicate with living humans, is trying to reach these humans, then they have the chance to understand that and to react to situations when creatures which are bodiless because they have lost their human body try to reach them. So I did speak a lot, sorry for that. Some sound, some music. Do you want to produce some more sound? Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna give Chester a moment to produce in a moment more sound here. And then I'm gonna replace the cameras again so that you later get a very good video from a lot of different spots with a lot of different plants and impressions. And be aware, we are testing the microphone here at the moment. There's another microphone, another new one, which is more produced for musicians. Like these type of microphones, musicians normally use as on the stage, because these are camera microphones. Okay, so there are gonna be more videos in the future when the summer is coming, because that's one of the first warm days. But the summer is not here, not even yet. So when the summer is there, I'm gonna produce more videos with creators which have lived as musicians, to capture more sounds. And be also aware, creatures which have lived as human beings before and which have lost their own human body, they can connect in symbiosis to biological bodies, human bodies, animal bodies, plant bodies. Watch the reaction. The wind level is triggered again, and that is because Chester do agree to that as well. So he's able today to connect in symbiosis potentially to your human body, so you can travel potentially to your human body, connect in symbiosis with your human body, use your ears, your eyes, and the functions of your biological human body, and that way you can get sound. Watch the wind level, it's triggered a lot. I'm going to be quiet. Pushed into the bottle like a flute. Okay? I'm not good at that. So Chester, can you agree with the wind tool? That was you, right? You did trigger the wind to reach the bottle, and you used the bottle in that way as a creature by using the natural environment like a flute. Is that correct? That you just used the plastic bottle as a flute, as an instrument? If that's correct, he's presenting the star to say yes. If that's correct, trigger the wind, and he's triggering the wind, he's agreeing to that. So that you, the people, have the chance to understand that. And with that, he just demonstrated that even as a creature without a human body, but with the knowledge of humans, he can use the wind today with this tool as a flute. He can use the bottle as a flute to produce a sound. Hopefully the microphone did capture that. Of course, I'm not 100% sure of that, but I hope so. That's one of the cheap microphones. Maybe we're gonna repeat that on another day, if not later, with that microphone as well, just to see the difference. But maybe on another day, because I'm not sure if I make it to try everything right now. I want to try. Give me a moment. So Chester, if you want, the bottle is placed now close to the microphone. I'm gonna hold it different because I think that's the problem. experiment still not works. What could you see? It is a fail because the sound was not produced and could not hear, and the microphone could not capture. Chester can agree to that. It's a different area, right? Here the area is like a little spot. Just so that you get an impression on something like a little road. Okay? So in this little road situation, check if you can see that too. So in this little road situation, it is easier for Chester to push the wind specifically to the bottom. I think over there it would be possible, but we would have to train it. We would have to optimize both of us. Me, I would have to optimize myself how I should hold the bottle, and he would have to optimize himself how he is pushing the wind into the bottle, that then the wind is producing the sound. Like the kids have to learn that in a new situation. Okay? Just so you understand. And Chester is agreeing to that. So just so you understand, hopefully the microphone will capture the successful part. And with this microphone, I'm going to try to Chester maybe on another day. But that's not a problem. If Chester was a musician, so he was a professional musician, and he's used, that's what I think, used to the situation. Because that's normal in that business. It's true, right? Yeah, true. So we're going to work on that later. You could see Chester did agree, and he did agree strong by sending wind waves also. In between when I spoke, you maybe could hear, if I do with my hand the sound wave now, I spoke something out and then you could hear a wave coming out and then maybe another wave. And that's how specific the communication is going on here. And some of the sound is produced from this area over here. That's the area where we have Kunti before and where we have Kunti at the parts. That's for your better understanding, okay? So Chester is agreeing to that by triggering the wind, by color lighting. So, okay, Chester, should we switch the location, like for another part? Yes, yes. Okay, so I will switch the location and search for another spot where we can do it. And it's going to take too long. So I'm going to watch out for that a little bit, and then we're going to search for another spot to capture some more sound. Thank you for watching so far. Chester and me now I'm back. The equipment is replaced because Chester wants to demonstrate on a bigger scale when he's using wind. So when he's canalizing wind, here you have the same situation with the huge lake in between, and the cameras are placed in a way that you see a lot of the area. So the cameras are pointing also in different directions, as you can see over here. One is pointing into that direction. There you see trees and a waterfall. It's in the direction of the waterfall. I'm going to check if the camera is capturing the waterfall. Yes, it's capturing the waterfall. And down there you see also trees. You see like a tree line and a tree area. And you see trees over here if you watch closely. So, and that is Chester now canalizing the wind and using the area to demonstrate that to you. So please watch out for the crowns of all these trees, because that is where you can see it. Okay, if you watch with the blue sky in the background, you can see it very well. So Chester is using that area at the moment. Yes. I'm watching over here because the wind tool is not filmed at this moment in time. It's placed over here, okay? So he's canalizing the wind to this area. The wind is getting stronger and stronger at this moment in time. And that is filmed by the camera which is standing over here, okay? I'm going to use that camera and I'm going to film everything so that you understand. So that is how the cameras are placed, and these are the directions they are filming at. Okay? So I'm gonna communicate with Chester now a little bit, and he's demonstrating at the trees that he's canalizing the wind. That's one thing, but the other thing is that he can use high wind levels, because you need high wind levels, you need a lot of force behind the wind, in the wind, to push the big trees around, the crowns of these huge trees, because they're not small trees. So this area is becoming more quiet now. Let me search for a moment. This camera here is filming this area, and the area, the crowns were quiet. Now Chester, please start to shake the crowns in this area over here. I do not give him the advice, I try to communicate with him. Will you? Chester gonna canalize the wind to the area over there, and the crown will shake more very soon, so you have to watch very closely. And please, because it's so far away, please get used to the fact that if you watch my documentations, or my documentations are produced with creators like Chester, please use your huge television screen, and please use on your PC maybe the opportunity to zoom in if your PC is able to do that. Just that you understand. I look back at the crowns now from the area where I pointed at, and I can see that more wind is canalized to the huge tree where I was pointing at. Okay, that's for you better understand it. The camera, I'm going to point with my finger here, that was the tree I was pointing at, and the crown of the tree was the point. So, now I'm turning around to this area, because that area is very quiet, and I'm going to use that camera as well. You can see the trees there, they were quiet, and I'm going to communicate with Chester now to use that area. Okay? Yeah. So that is the area we are talking about now. Okay, for you better understand.
Möge die Macht mit dir sein.
Yeah, cheers. You're very welcome. Thank you. Bye bye.
Stay in contact through Facebook.
Huh?
Through Facebook.
Yeah. Mach's gut. Schönen Tag noch. So sorry. Now I'm back again. Some people which were grilling over here, they just left the place. That's all. So let me look at that thing. And the crown is shaking. That's just he did trigger the wind. He did canalize the wind. And if you watch the crown closely, hopefully you can see that with the cameras. If you watch that crown closely, I'm gonna pull the camera back a little bit. Hopefully then it's in the picture. So Chester, can you repeat that over there in the area? And now he's repeating that. If you watch it on a huge screen, you will be able to watch the beat. You will be able to see the crown back here where I'm pointing with my hand at. You will be able to see the crown of the tree shaking. It's the tree behind the first tree, and now he will also shake the crown of the first tree. He will start with that. So you will see that he's using the wind to shake the one tree back there, and now the wind is reaching the other tree, and you can see much more movement in the other tree. Look at that. So watch it closely. Watch it again if you want to. You can rewind. That's weather control. The control of the natural environment by the creator Chester, who have lived as a man before and who was a member of the band Linkin Park, as I explained to you before. And he's canalizing the wind in the area over here, and he did that before in the area over there, and now we did present it to you in the area where we at, in the Rheinau in Bonn, Germany. So
I think I got enough video material for all of you for this day, sorry. So I'm gonna end this video, and then I'm gonna be back with Chester soon during the summertime. We're gonna film more for you, and hopefully you will get more video material soon with more demonstrations in it, more specific demonstrations, so that even if you are not used to universal communication or to situations when creatures which are called ghosts by others, or ancestors or creatures which have lived as human beings before, when they use the natural environment to communicate with living humans. Please give yourself the chance to understand everything. Please give yourself the chance that your eyes get the option to get used to the natural environment or to the wind tool, to stuff like that when I explain it, and when we work with it during the communication, or during situations like today where I captured a lot of videos with Chester, where we produced a lot of documentations for you, where I filmed when Chester was producing sound with the natural environment, so natural sounds. It is very complex because creatures which have lived as human beings before have so much complex opportunities to influence the natural environment for communication, or to present themselves, or to interact with others, so that you do better understand that. Thank you very much for watching. The wind was canalized by Chester, and I'm Knight Sebastian Power-Sieger. More information you can also find on www.cambc.com. Thank you.